What is up, everybody? Coming to you from our AT&T 5G virtual studios. That is the beautiful Susanna Collins. I am Jillian Sakovitz, and today's episode is a good slice of maturity from Orlando City attacker Tesho Akindele, now in his 8th year in Major League Soccer, veteran and also wise beyond his 30 years. Pressure is a privilege, he tells us. For those of you who haven't been paying attention, Orlando City sitting in 5th place in the Eastern Conference, 8 games to go, Susanna Collins, in the MLS regular season, plus one more game, U.S. Open Cup final on September 7th against Sacramento Republic of USL, the Cinderella story. But Tesho argues they are also the Cinderella story. And for those of you listening that are like, what's Open Cup? Well, it is the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup tournament. It's a knockout style competition in American men's soccer, open to teams of all divisions, oldest ongoing national soccer competition in the U.S. It was first held in 1914, and the last time a non-MLS team, top division in the U.S. obviously, won it was 1999. So we talked to him a little bit about that, talked to him about Oscar Pareja, who's virtually been his head coach his entire career between Dallas and Orlando. And talked to him also about going from being a Division II soccer player at good old Colorado School of the Mines, their all-time leading scorer, to being drafted and all that good stuff. And I'm inspired because he told me that he has a lot of, quote, free time as a father, an entrepreneur, and a professional soccer player. And I was like, Jill, you then must have 24 hours.
Yeah, he's also got 2 kids. And so I was like, how, Tesho, how? I felt incredibly lazy after this interview. No, but
we are working hard.
He's amazing. And Tesho, we've had him on, this was his second time on the call up. Last time we had him on, he was in the bubble. Like this was like,
we were all in a
literally,
space.
A very different space, literally feels like a different lifetime ago. But at that point, he had just kind of started getting into like finance and real estate. And now kind of 2 years on, it's a big part of his life. And then for him to be like, yeah, I have free time. I'm like, okay, you've got like 2 jobs and a family, and I don't know how you do it, but he's incredible. As you mentioned, like the big hero in last week's game against Charlotte, which is just so cool. And this would be, if they could win the U.S. Open Cup, the reason why he's saying that it's a Cinderella team is because Orlando has not won a trophy yet.
This would be the biggest win of their club history.
First trophy for Orlando City. So that's kind of how that Cinderella narrative plays in. So it's very exciting. And we're we're torn because we love both teams. We love Sacramento. We love Orlando. They're both great stories. But I have to show you something, Jill. Orlando City gifted me one of my most prized possessions ever. Like we get sent, to be fair, and we're very lucky, we get sent a lot of gear and swag from teams, Republic, just, very blessed, blessed. But I'm sure you recall the 2020 playoffs. Orlando City was playing NYCFC, and it went to, it was a wild game.
Yeah.
It was like this crazy back and forth game. And it went to PKs, and they didn't have a goalkeeper because Galese got sent off, and Rodrigo Schlegel had to step up in goal. Rodrigo Schlegel, who's not a goalkeeper, and came up with a big save, and Orlando City sent me a Rodrigo Schlegel goalkeeper jersey. And I'm like, I don't think there's many of these that exist.
There has to be there has to be 3. You know what? Fine art, it's like 1 of 3.
Yeah.
What is this?
I don't know, but I have the tags off. I wouldn't take the tags off because I was like, this is a relic. Literally a collector's item. And I know that there are a bunch of MLS people out there that would kill for this. Not happening. This is mine forever.
No. Susanna, you just send her a DM on Twitter, and she's gonna she's gonna do a raffle and send it.
But I just love it. It's just one of these things where I was like, we're having Tesho on, we're talking about Orlando City, and I feel like it's appropriate that I showcase this because I don't know that it got enough love at the time. Like we were, it was still COVID times.
We were down.
I know. So
it's a relic, and you know what's so weird as we dive into this conversation is I've never gotten anything from Orlando City.
Here I am. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever been
But
sent.
you know what? It's all in good fun. that's because I am the host and sideline reporter for Atlanta United.
Oh,
and I
that's
think
a rival.
I think that doesn't really like check the box for like send Jill a gift, and I'm okay with that.
That makes sense.
Because the rivalry is a lot of fun. It's all in good fun. Orlando City's fortunes against Atlanta United have changed. So I'm okay with it, Orlando.
Yeah.
I know it's
very mature of you.
Love. Thank you. I learned from Tesho.
Time now for our AT&T 5G call to the field. We are thrilled to bring in another repeat customer on the call-up. We have the hero in last weekend's Orlando's 2-1 win over Charlotte, the guy with the game-winning goal, Tesho Akindele. Tesho, it's so great to see you again. Thanks for coming back on the call-up. You had so much fun the first time. You couldn't wait, right?
Yeah. I definitely had a good time, and all it takes is a game-winning goal to get on here. So I guess I need to do a few more of those.
That's it. That's it. Okay, let's talk about that game-winning goal, okay? Because I was watching this game, and I saw it was like the final minutes, and I saw you charging down the field, and then you shoot it, and it gets saved, but then you bang in the rebound. Can you kind of walk us through that moment and what that felt like? Because it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, so I had subbed onto the game maybe 10 minutes before that, and I always just try to bring energy. So I was back playing defense. We cleared it, and I just, took off up the field. And, you said I was the hero of the game, but I missed the initial shot. So I was about to be the villain. People were getting like Twitter fingers ready to hate on me. Luckily, the rebound came back, and then I was able to put it away. So like from possibly a villain to the hero in the flash of a second. But, that's kind of how it is. Like things are always kind of very close, inches away from whatever, winning, losing games, being the hero, being the villain. It's always really close. So, I was glad I was at the right place, right time, and able to score that goal.
So you mentioned Twitter fingers. What about Twitter ink? Have you seen this tattoo, Tesho, first off?
Yeah. I saw somebody got a tattoo of my name after that. Yeah.
So... shout out to @Squidhead2020, whoever you are.
Jake, yeah.
Oh, so for our listeners that don't know, he had said during the game, all right, if Tesho scores, I'll get a Tesho tattoo. Well, you score. Jake fulfills his obligation and gets a little itty bitty jersey, and it says Tesho 13 on it. P.S. I have seen many a tattoo guarantee from fans, but never for 9 games out from the end of the season, regular season,
this is commitment.
Game winner. What's your reaction when you see that someone did that?
I mean, it's amazing. It's just crazy. It just shows that what we do is super important to people, and it just kind of reminds you of that, like not to take things for granted, because it is really important to people's lives. And the funny story, that's the second time that somebody has got a tattoo because of me scoring a goal. So it happened in Dallas as well. I subbed on to a game against Atlanta United, and we were losing 1-0, I think. And the guy in the stand said, if a Canadian saves our team, it was on July 4th. He said, if a Canadian saves our team on July 4th, I'm getting a Maple Leaf tattoo. I scored 2 goals in that game. And then he said he's going to do it. I went with him to the tattoos parlor. There's like a video of it. I went with him, and he got like a big, Maple Leaf on his forearm or something.
I remember that game. I covered it, and it was the ultimate collapse by Atlanta United in the final minutes. It would have been the July 3rd or 4th game
July 4th,
of 2018.
18, yeah, it was 2018. Yep. Yeah, so that's the second time that someone's got a tattoo from
And Dallas went on you were down 1-0, and you guys won it 2-1, right? And
yes, I scored both goals in 5 minutes or something like that.
Man,
see, Tesho, you're always the hero. Always the hero.
Yeah. I do. Honestly, I've had a good history just in my life of clutch moments. Like honestly, because so I don't know if you guys know, I went to a Division II school, and nobody knew about me. I wasn't supposed to get drafted or whatever. I went to the combine, and I played the best I've ever played, and then I ended up getting drafted first round, from being somebody nobody knew about to getting drafted. So luckily in my life, I've been able to show up when it matters,
I was just going to say, being able to show up in those big moments, how do you do that? That's something.
And I don't know. I guess there's this saying that pressure is a privilege. And I feel like that's very true. A lot of people might look at pressure as just an overwhelming thing, but it's good to be in a situation like in that game. I had the ball going towards the goal with 30,000 people watching me, game on the line. I love to be in that position, or the game's on the line. If there's a PK, I would love to take the PK, because I think pressure is a privilege. Like we're very lucky to be in the spot where our job matters. Like, and it matters so much that people might get a tattoo about it, and then you get called up onto this podcast about it. Like it's a very cool.
It's a real badge of honor.
People get a tattoo. Next best thing higher
next
than that.
Level up is
come on the call up.
The call up.
Pressure is a privilege. Sounds like a tattoo, Tesho, that you should have. Do you have any tattoos?
I have one tattoo on my shoulder. It's like our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. So.
Also good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pressure is a privilege, is not.
Yeah, you should consider that.
One. Yeah, I've been thinking about getting another one. I'm definitely open to it. So.
And then in really little letters, the call up underneath.
Well, on top, of course, because it's a higher honor.
So nice.
Yeah.
Like I said, badge of honor. Well, speaking of pressure, we're kind of in this, like, I guess we're going to say the home stretch of the season. We've got like 7 or 8 weeks left. So this is, it's crunch time. It's crunch time. And as it stands right now, Orlando City in 5th place. So if season ended right now, you guys would be playing postseason soccer. We know that MLS is crazy. A lot of things can happen. So Tesho, how would you describe the season thus far? Because I feel like there's been some peaks, there's been some valleys, but you guys have basically maintained, you've been above the playoff line for a good portion of the season. How would you describe 2022 for Orlando City?
First of all, it's really crazy how close everything is with playoffs. Like we're in 5th place, but I think we're like 2 points away from being in like 8th or 9th place. Like there's so many teams right there. So every game matters. But yeah, this season for us overall has definitely been up and down. We've been really good away from home, which usually teams in MLS are not. And unfortunately, we haven't been good enough at home. We've given away a lot of points at home, which is something we need to improve. But kind of the backdrop of all of that is that we're in the Open Cup final, so we're in, 2 or 3 weeks now. We're going to be the opportunity to get the first trophy ever for this club as an MLS team. So that's a great, opportunity for us. So overall, I think the season's been positive. We're in the playoff race, which gives us the chance to win MLS Cup at the end of the year. And then we're in the Open Cup final. So kind of even through the ups and downs, I'd say we're still tracking towards like all of our bigger goals.
Let's talk Open Cup final. And also for our listeners, Tesho is absolutely right. Orlando City with 36 points in 5th place. And then a team like Charlotte, 32 points in 10th place. Just a knife's edge kind of separating who is in.
Not a lot of room.
In and out of that playoff line. But you mentioned the U.S. Open Cup semifinal. I was there in Orlando covering that game. And coming into it, the narrative very much was the fact that maybe Orlando was struggling in their form coming in there. What's going to happen? And New York Red Bulls were absolutely on fire. They had just come off of this thrilling win at Austin, top team in the Western Conference. And then you guys simply dismantled the New York Red Bulls 5-1 in the semifinal to punch your ticket to the final on September 7th. How was the team kind of able to come alive and not just win a semifinal Open Cup game where both teams had their best squads out there, but also in the way that you all did?
Yeah, I think that was the narrative, and that was a true narrative. Like we were struggling at that moment. New York was on fire, and then New York scored in like the 40th minute or something like that, and so we were down 1-0, and I felt like the mood of our team was almost like, oh, here we go again, like another bad performance at home. And then Cesar Araujo scored a goal, like last kick of the first half. And I really, that goal like just changed so much for our season. Honestly, it was insane. That goal was so clutch, and it just kind of like the halftime talk was different because of that, because we were in it. We had the momentum. We had the belief.
1-1.
Yeah, it was 1-1 now. Like we weren't down at home at halftime. And we come out in the second half, and I feel like the energy of the team was so much better. If he wouldn't have scored that goal at that moment, I'm sure we would have lost the game. So it was a huge goal. And then he ended up scoring again. Like Cesar's been an amazing player for our team this year. And that was one of the best examples of it.
The young Uruguayan. Just a quick follow-up to that. Do you think your MLS season also has gone in a different direction since that moment, scoring 4 unanswered there in the second half and getting that win at home?
It's been a little bit up and down in MLS since then, because I think after that we lost to DC United, and I think we lost another game. So, but it's been up and down. But right now we have two away wins in a row, which I think is huge. So I think we're kind of turning a corner there, and I think that we're finding our identity a bit. as just like a kind of a workhorse team is what we're trying to be. Like, we have very talented players, but at the end of the day, it's just about working first. So.
And this is the right time for things to come together. Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is it. Tesho, David Goss and I had you on MLS Today last month, and I think it was right after that semifinal win. And we were talking about Sac Republic. And one of the things I loved about that conversation with you was that you loved that Sac Republic was going to play in this final against you guys, because that's kind of what this tournament is all about. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I love that you were embracing it. I love that you were like, no, this is great. This is great for soccer. They're gonna, people love a Cinderella story. So, you guys are going to be, as the MLS team, like, you guys are playing at home. You're going to be the favorites, but then you're going to come up against this team where, it's kind of like this feel good story for soccer. So how, as a team, how are you guys kind of dealing with that narrative and being sort of the favorites, if you will, in this game?
Yeah, I mean, we have no problem trying to play spoilers and ruin the Cinderella story, I guess. Like, we want to win the tournament. Just like I said, it's a chance for us to get our first trophy. So I think we have a feel-good story on our own. Their story is amazing too. So I just think there's really good storylines leading up to this game. Like you said, it's good for soccer because the Open Cup is all about that. Like, even Omaha this year, they went so far in the tournament, and just like nobody would have expected that. So you see stories like that, Sacramento being in the finals now, it's really just shows, anything can happen. It's really fun for the game. I'm sure that they'll get a decent amount of fans traveling for the game. I'm pretty sure it's sold out already. So it's going to be a crazy atmosphere. And yeah, I think like, as much as they have a Cinderella story, we kind of have one too, having never won a tournament. So, we're kind of believing in our own Cinderella story.
The battle for who is the real Cinderella.
The real Cinderella, yeah.
Who's the
glass slipper fit, right?
The glass slipper again. On next week's episode, you will hear from head coach of Sac Republic, Mark Briggs. Kind of, everybody wants the glass slipper.
I know.
I think there needs to be a glass slipper.
There could be
that
a secondary
we sent to
trophy.
Orlando.
Like, there'll be the Lamar Hunt trophy,
and
but then
they put it on each other's feet.
See if you guys can make that happen. Yeah,
it's a tradition that sticks in Open Cup forever. Started right here. It's really Mark Briggs and Tesho that started it. You're just both talking about the glass slipper. That's all.
Trendsetters.
All I'm going to say. If that's not getting you set for September 7th, I don't know what is. Tesho, something else that makes you super unique in MLS is the fact that you're a full-time professional soccer player, but also you dabble in finance and business. Can you update us on that? And then how much of that comes from the fact that this was not necessarily your plan, like you said, coming from a Division II school, and the fact that you didn't know if this was going to be a long-term career of yours? I imagine it was something you aspired to.
Yeah, I mean, in my life, like, education has always been, really important for me from my family. Like, when I left, so I went to a Division II engineering school. I went there because I was really good at engineering, and I left early so that I could try to enter the draft and become a professional. And my parents were pissed at me. Like, they were like, all right, you're on your own now. Like, you need to figure it out. They wanted me to stay in school. Luckily, it worked out. And even, when I talked to my now wife, when she was my girlfriend, I talked to her dad about marrying her. And he was like, yeah, but, I want you to finish your degree, because I had left school. I hadn't finished my degree. So
it's very commanding.
Yeah. So as a player, like, I finished my degree through SNHU, and then I got a master's degree in finance. So I feel like I made good to my parents, made good to my father-in-law in that way. And yeah, like, I've just tried to use my free time productively. Like, I started investing in real estate. Actually, in the bubble is when I started really getting into it, because we had so much free time. And so, I've just been investing in real estate, buying rental properties, stuff like that. And now I'm kind of transitioning into, they call it like urbanism. So I'm like looking into
what's
like,
that?
how can I be part of making cities better in general? Like,
that's so beautiful.
Like, go to like walkscore.com is a great place to start. Like, type in your address and see what your walk score is.
And then we have a good walk score.
It's like, I want everybody to have a good walk score, basically, like, as much as possible. Like, I think we need more neighborhoods where people can walk around and stuff like that. But
Susanna walked here today.
I did. We're literally neighbors.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so I'm really interested in like how to make cities better. And I feel like that can solve a lot of different issues in society too. So I kind of am transitioning from real estate as just an investment in my mind to like maybe real estate as like a tool to make the world better at the same time.
So we want you to play forever, Tesho, and I think you have plenty of playing days ahead of you. But, talking about this urbanism and your vision, like what are your kind of hopes and dreams and aspirations for life after soccer in that sort of realm?
Yeah, I think just try to make an impact on the world. Like I said, I feel like I want to help make some cities a better place for people, like more affordable for people. There's a group here called Orlando YIMBY, which stands for like Yes in My Backyard. And they just advocate for like more housing, affordable housing. So like I've attended meetings with them and like, got coffee with the founder of the group and stuff. So like I'm really passionate about just trying to make a change in right now I'm in Orlando and I love Orlando. I hope to make as much of an impact here for as long as I can. And then if I end up moving somewhere, I hope to make an impact there in the community. Because, I've been very blessed in my life in so many different ways. And I feel like it's almost my duty to pass that on.
I love that. Well, keep us posted. And I know when we have you back on for your three-peat, you'll have some more big news for us. Tesho, when you get a young player that's maybe coming to you, not just for your veteran experience, but also the fact that you have a master's and you dabble in finance and real estate. What's the number one question that you get from players also trying to maybe do a little bit like you do?
Yeah, a lot of people are like, where do I even get started on real estate? Like, how do I figure it out? And I always give the answer, bigger pockets. Like there's this website, they have a podcast, they have books. It's called Bigger Pockets. Like anybody who's interested in becoming a real estate investor, that's the perfect place to start. So that's the number one question, is because people are just like overwhelmed. They're like, I don't even know where to begin, Yeah. And so it's like, just start there and it'll just take you down the right path. Because everybody starts like knowing nothing at one point,
It's sure do.
It's very true. It's very true. But for some of the young guys, I know like you have been so forward thinking about, what life might look like after the playing career is done and after you hang up the boots. What's some advice you would give to players who are just entering the league and, in terms of just like being able to kind of plan for the future? Because I think it's important. And I think it's because, careers unfortunately don't last forever. Playing careers don't last forever. And I feel like you're such an incredible role model and would be such a great resource for young guys who are sort of, looking to plan ahead. What advice would you give people like that?
Yeah, my first piece of advice was that you need to take your career very seriously, because like you're going to make more money playing soccer probably than doing anything else. So, of course it is smart to plan for what's next, but it's smarter to extend your career for as long as you can. So like eat well, go early to training and like do some prehab, stay after training, do rehab, hit the weight room, watch video. Like you need to do all of that stuff first. So that's number one, is like make sure your career is as long as possible. And then after that, so say I do all of that. I come to practice early. I practice as hard as I can. I stay late. I watch video. I do all the professional stuff. I have kids too. And I still am left with like 3 or 4 hours per day of just free time. So like if you take your career seriously and you manage your time well, you still have 3 or 4 hours a day to just do whatever you want. And that's with kids. Most of these guys coming in the league don't have kids. So they probably have 6 or 7 hours a day to do whatever they want. So just use that time productively, and just kind of find what's interesting to you, Another piece of advice is like, if you're a professional athlete, people will answer your phone call. Like I've cold emailed people. Like I used to think, oh, maybe I want to be a financial advisor. I just sent an email to somebody who looked like a good financial advisor. Like, would you talk to me about what it's like? And he's a great guy. I literally talk to him all the time now, almost as like a mentor relationship. And people will answer, so use it while you can, like while you're a professional athlete. Like if you think, oh, this job looks cool, or these people are doing cool things, like just reach out to them. You'll be surprised how many people will say like, yeah, I'll meet with you.
That's incredible.
Inspirational.
It is. I know. I think I can take some of that advice.
Tesho, for our listeners, fun fact, just the ones that don't know, Canadian professional soccer player. You're born in Canada, then you moved to Colorado, I think when you were 8. Canadian mother, Nigerian father. Where does the name Tesho come from? Because I have to say, you're the only Tesho that I know.
Yeah, I don't think I've met. No, I don't think I've met another Tesho.
Yeah, it's a Nigerian name. It's not even too common in Nigeria, but yeah, it's a Nigerian
Where'd your
name.
family find it though? Is it like a family name?
No, I don't know how they picked that one specifically, and my sister's name is Sade, which is also that's a famous singer. If you don't know
I
that,
was going to
some
say
great
That
music.
name
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah,
That one I
so
know.
that's my sister's name, and it's also a Nigerian name. But yeah, it's just they just came up with it, liked it, so I feel like it fits me. It fits me well. I enjoy it, and
Rolls off the tongue,
it's cool
Tesho.
because like you said, you don't hear it every day, and that's the joke. Like I always when I introduce myself to people, they'll say like what, and I have to repeat Tesho, and they say yeah, you don't hear it every day, and they say yeah, but I like it. Like a lot of people say that. So
awesome.
yeah,
It's awesome because it's just like it's literally like you could just be Tesho, like the
Oh,
guy
yeah,
who
you
just
got
got the
my jersey,
tattoo,
Tesho.
just
Yeah.
Tesho, like
yeah.
Tesho right on his arm. You started your MLS career in 2014. You were drafted by Dallas, and you recently celebrated a milestone with Orlando City. 100 games. You obviously now more than 100 games. I feel like that went by in the blink of an eye. So when you think about, young Tesho entering the league 2014 to where you are now, the hero scoring game-winning goals, NBD, how do you think that you have evolved as a player and a person?
That's a good question. Yeah, time really has flown by. It's funny, like, let me say first, because I've been with Oscar Pareja, the coach, like 8 of the 9 years.
Right,
And
Dallas and
so,
Orlando.
he drafted me and he's still my coach right now. And we laugh about it sometimes, like, where did the time go? Like when he drafted me, I was just a kid, didn't know anything. Now I'm married, I have 2 kids, like I'm bald, it's like time has flown by. But I guess as a player, I think just like really understanding what my strengths are and like why am I on the team right now, and I think one of those things is like working hard, try to score goals, being a leader, I think on the field and off the field as well, like an example to people, like you said, if younger players come in the team, what advice would I give? I think a lot of time younger players gravitate towards me because maybe they see I've been a good example of stuff like that. So I try to really understand like why am I on this team? What role am I bringing, and to do those things well. And then what I'm not on the team to do is dribble 100 people and like do a million step overs. Like I'm not on the team for that. It's just a fact. So like I'll let Mauricio do that because that's why he's on the team. So understanding my role, I think, is how I've grown as a player. And then as a person, I think I've just learned a lot. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of free time, and I think I've done a good job of using it productively, like whether it's to finish my degree, to learn a lot about real estate investing, to just get out into the community and meet with a ton of people. So I think I've just grown a lot and kind of become more aware of, I guess, the world around me as a person, and hopefully how I can impact the world around me too.
Well, we'll leave it there. And I love the fact that you say I never hear professional athletes talk about all the time that they do have.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's a great perspective. Tesho, thank you so much for coming on today.
We love you, Tesho.
Yeah,
we're always rooting for you. And like many more years to come.
That's amazing. Hopefully I can score another game-winning goal soon and get another call up.
Get you back on.
Okay.
We'll get you back on. That's a promise. If you do, you're coming back on. Huge thanks to Tesho Akindele for coming on for a second time. Always love chatting with him. We're here for him, and we are here for a few things. Well, maybe we're not. We'll see. The first one, Jill. Okay, so Twitter went bananas the other night.
You don't say.
Yeah, you don't say. Or should I say they went hot dog, not bananas.
Ew.
But I know. So there was a footage of a guy. I believe he was wearing a Yankees hat. So I think this is at a Yankees game. And he's kind of, he's sitting in the stands and he has a beer and a hot dog in his hand. Well, he takes a straw and shoves it through the center of the hot dog, Jill, removes the straw, then places the hot dog into his cup of beer and proceeds to drink the beer out of the hot dog. Like the hot dog is now the straw, basically. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I'm watching this video. This is not a guy who's doing this for attention. He's like trying to be soups discreet while he does this. And part of me feels terrible that he was caught doing this because maybe this is just a thing that he does. It's like one of these where it's like, you do you, but also I am throwing up in my mouth a little bit as I watch this.
I have so many questions.
I know.
So first one, is the hot dog still hot? Like, is it warm? Room temp? And as a New Yorker, I want to try it. And you know I love hot dogs.
I love hot dogs. Baseball park hot dogs are like the best.
Looking at this video, this is either at Citi Field or Yankee Stadium. It looks almost like it might have been when New York and the Yankees and the Mets were playing each other like a week or two ago in the Subway Series. But either way, these are good seats.
Great seats.
These are expensive seats. Mm-hmm. So you know what? Maybe he splurged, and if he wants to drink his beer through the center of a hot dog, he should.
I mean, like I said, like, you do you, man. But also, like,
we need to come up with a bet, because you and I are going to Yankee Stadium to see Bad Bunny.
We are.
Next weekend. No, this weekend.
This week.
We're doing that
this very exciting.
That's this weekend. And I kind of want to do it.
Should we do it?
I think if I've had enough, I'll do it.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, TBD.
Maybe we'll videotape that.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. That could happen. I have another here.
I want 2 hot dogs though, because I want to eat one.
Yeah, no. Oh my God. I feel like it is kind of a waste of a hot dog. That's really my big beef. So I don't know if I'm here for this or not, but
I feel so bad for him.
Whoever
you are, I support you.
Listen,
and I respect
you do you, sir. It's wonderful. This is a great one. Okay. I'm excited to show you this. So over the weekend, I'm sure you guys were watching some Premier League action, and Leeds United has become kind of the new darling, if you will, for Americans who are supporting the Premier League, because obviously we've got Jesse Marsch as the head coach. He saved them from relegation.
Former Red Bulls coach.
We've got Tyler Adams, former Red Bull, doing his thing. Brendan Aronson scored his first goal. Technically, well, it was he scored in the previous game, but they took it away. So his second goal, but whatever.
He got it back.
Yes, exactly.
Brendan Aronson of the
huge win over Chelsea.
Union, like their games all here.
Huge win over Chelsea. So this is like and Jack Harrison plays for them as well, who obviously played for NYCFC. So there's a huge contingent of MLS people.
Northeast.
Yes, very concentrated. So some, I don't know who the brilliant human is that came up with this design, but I need you to check out this, Jill. So if you guys are watching, I'm hoping we can put up a graphic.
We will.
Someone took the old MLS logo, like with the boot kicking the ball. MLS, Major Leeds Soccer, and slapped it on a t-shirt. And guess who bought it? Your girl, Susanna. I sure did.
Did you buy me one?
I didn't. I should have.
I think you did. And you're just going to surprise me.
Goss, I will say David Goss and Galena are the ones that pointed me in the direction, but I pulled the trigger first.
Oh.
And then everyone else did. Cause I'm like that. Like, I'll just be, if I see it and I like it, I'm like, done. Like, I'm getting it. And I had to have it.
Well, that does it here. But just a reminder to all of our listeners that U.S. Open Cup final game is Wednesday, September 7th. Orlando taking on Sacramento Republic of USL at Exploria Stadium. A chance for history, no matter how no matter how it goes. That game will be on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN+. In the meantime, if Tesho didn't get you primed and set, get ready for next week. We had a really fun, insightful conversation with head coach of Sacramento Republic, Mark Briggs, as Susanna Collins called him. She got Pep Guardiola vibes.
I did.
And you don't drop that casually.
I dropped it early too, but I think it
set the tone.
It really did set the tone. I think he was into it.
We also planned them their after party.
Yes. It might involve Disney World.
Tesho definitely didn't want to hear about that from us.
No, we kept that a secret.
Mark was into it.
Exactly.
So this week and next week, you got great episodes as always. So thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, everybody? It is Susanna Collins and Jillian Sakovitz, co-hosts of The Call Up. And if you want more Call Up action, hit like and subscribe right here on YouTube, right there.
And also make sure that you download every episode of The Call Up every single Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time or anywhere that you get your podcasts. And while you're here, why not check out some of these other videos as well?